What does it do, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Scotty Says. I am your host, and welcome to episode 101, my folks. And, well, on the heels of that overtime loss to the Lions in Detroit at the hands of the kneecap biter and the golfer in them, well, I'm feeling frustrated, my folks, and so I had to come back to my undisclosed location on the outskirts of the city because I am the lone voice. It seems the lone voice who speaks up and out against the insanity that we are witnessing with the Rams. And I feel as though all of the themes and messages that I have been preaching about going back years now, all still on display yet again in the here and now. And I feel frustrated because I feel as though at the very core of it, at the root of it, there is no growth, my folks. There is no evolution. There is no maturity. And I'm talking about at the heart of power, at the seat of power. I'm talking about the main man himself, none other than Coach McWonder. He's not growing, my folks. He's not. He's not progressing. And so the same problems are plaguing the coach and the play calling and the Rams yet again in the new season in the Deuce Bowl. And now I feel very concerned that this might be a permanent feature of the McWonder regime, that this just may very well be inherent, that this is not something that's going to improve and become a distant memory, but no, instead will plague this coach and this team as long as he holds power in the organization. And what I'm talking about specifically, if you go back, if you watched any of my previous episodes, you know what I'm talking about. Balance, my folks. How many times, how many episodes have I come here and said again and again and again, without balance, you will fail, Coach McWonder. How many times I made a song, BALANCE. Balance, coach. That's what we need. I've preached, I've prodded. I've used satire and humor. I'm telling you right now, I feel frustrated that apparently these problems will never be resolved with this coach. And I know it's just one game. I know it's just one game this year. But as I have said here time and time again, there's a book on how to defeat Coach McGenius. There's a book. And all a coach has to do, an opposing head coach, all they have to do is just follow the blueprint. They'll beat him every damn time. I I've watched it time and time again, and there is again where my frustration comes in, because it seems like in all the land, in all of the NFL watching population, it is only me, only I who see it. How can this be? I told you last season that it's like a deity principle. All of the credit when things go well, none of the blame when they don't. That's what Coach McWonder enjoys. It's a deity principle. All of the credit when they win. He's a genius, you see. Why, there's never been a more prolific offensive mind. Why, look at him, the young genius. When they win. And when they lose, well, it's always something or somebody else. You know, the ferret is on the TV right now saying, in this particular moment in time, saying, oh, it's the injuries. That's the problem. It's the injuries. That's the excuse they'll use. It's personnel. Last year, or my season ticket here, the excuse they used was, well, he has no one to work with there. There's no one there to work with. There's not. He's gotten Matty from the D, his dream quarterback. Look at Soup and all the rest of his hand-picked cast. There's no one there to work with. He had his boy Stoney. Well, they had a point with that one. But that was the excuse they gave him. Well, he had no talent, no one to work with, you see? But then when he won the next year, oh, look at him, he's a genius. This is his finest coaching performance ever. Is it? Well, I have been crying out for years now. Coach, you need balance in your offensive play calling. I even had to come up with a term, with a segment of the episode called the McBlunder Report. Why? Because game in and game out, the coach was making critical McBlunders that in many instances would lead directly to the Rams losing the ball game. Coaching, the very thing that he is lauded for universally, except from this small corner of cyberspace. Coaching, and once again in this first game, in the opening game of the season, the Detroit game, it bit him in the ass yet again, just like the last game of last season. The Detroit playoff loss bit him in the ass yet again. Just like it does every time Father Shanahan comes to town or he has to go up there. Bites him in his ass yet again. What is it? What's doing it? He has no balance. The man is unbalanced. And I told you this many episodes ago, that I went to the football malady book. I found it in the library and dusted it off, and in the book of football maladies, I found it. I had to look toward the back because it's in the P's. McWonder, he's got pass happiness. Yes, he does. He's got it. And those who are afflicted by pass happiness, why? They're almost never seem to recover. He should go talk to Mike Martz, another one who was afflicted with it. He's got a condition, my folks. McWonder is sick with it. He's got pass happiness. It's bigger than him, clearly. When I get to the numbers, and because, we do this every episode, when we talk about the Rams, I give you my impressions of what I've seen, and I give you a game analysis. I'm not going to even do that. I'm just going to give you a couple of McBlunder report candidates. And then, I'm going to go right to the numbers because it's in the numbers, my folks. What I'm saying, it's buried in the numbers. That's one major problem Mr. McWonder has. The other one, well, he seems to have these odd, strange, peculiar clashes and disagreements and falling outs with key players. And he seems to fall into football love with certain less talented types, but they appear to remind him of himself, and he loves that about them. And that's one example, Stoney. He will elevate this type of guy, Jake Funk. For these type of players, he will elevate them at the expense, Cousin Allen, at the expense of more talented players, like Bobby Trees. Even the Grill, like many of the players that have seemed to have been cast off. We just saw on the defensive side. We just saw the Rams' leading tackler a year ago cast off under peculiar circumstances. And so now there's this now. A new mystery. What is the deal with Tutu? What is the deal with Tutu? Now, I do my research, and from what I can find, from every reputable source, apparently Tutu is on the roster. And I understand that he's even supposedly in the book on the Sunday Detroit loss for 6 plays. He had 6 plays, no targets. So he ran around a couple of routes out there. But what is really the deal, Coach McGenius? Because he was touted to us as he was going to be the solution, the answer for your kick return woes. And it has been woeful, woefully awful, awfully woeful. And so we were led to believe Tutu would handle kickoffs and punts. No. You've got your frontline running back, Kyron Williams, K-Will, returning kickoffs and punts. Why? K-Will's falling on punts when he should be staying away. K-Will doesn't know what he's doing. Why, McWonder? What is happening? We'll get to the injury report, but with the loss of Puka, the most you could scrape out for Tutu was 6 plays, no targets, no kick returns, no punt returns. You got your running back, K-Will. Corum, your touted rookie, your draft pick, Corum, I don't know. Listen, you can't get really inside the mind of McGenius. I won't try. I won't even wonder what's going on with McWonder. But I will say this, the man has got a condition. He is unbalanced. And it's going to cost you against a decent team every damn time. And it's going to cost you in the playoffs because you play decent teams in the playoffs. All right, so this is what I'm talking about, my folks. The Rams open up the game on offense. 3 plays, 3 passes, 3 and out. To start the season, Mr. McWonder goes on the road amongst the rabid faithful at the Dome in Detroit and goes 3 passes, 3 and out. This was a signal, a sign. This was a foretelling of what was to come. He has embraced his past happiness and makes no attempt to hide it any longer. Now, Detroit gets the ball and they return the favor. They go 3 and out, although they did manage to sprinkle a run in. The Rams get the ball back on offense. Now, I'd like to highlight the following sequence. The Rams get the ball back. No sign of doo-doo. It's K-Will back there returning the punt. And the Rams proceed to go on a drive. Oh, it was quite a drive. It was such a drive that I must highlight it. And so, the Rams now go to work. And there's soup. And there's puka. And after 11 plays of this drive, there's been one run. 10 passes. Now remember, the first possession, the Rams went 3 passes, 3 and out. The second possession, now at this point in the sequence, they have actually run 11 plays on this drive, 10 of which have been passes. But that's just the beginning, because McGenius, sick with it now, continues on. 14 passes out of 15 plays. He continues on. At one point in time, 15 throws out of 16 offensive snaps. 15 throws out of 16 offensive snaps. And if you include the opening drive, why, that's 18 throws out of 19 snaps to start the game. And I said right there, my folks, I said, first of all, the Rams will lose this game. Second of all, this man has learned nothing, hasn't evolved worth a damn. No growth or maturity in play calling. 19 passes out of 20 plays to open the game before a run, and then another throw, and then a field goal. And so out of all of this, you lead 3-0. But there's more to it than just being so wildly, sickly out of balance. I suspect that many of the injuries that the Rams offensive line sustains is a combination of McWonder has his own way of going about preseason. We know that. Combined with the fact that the offensive line for Coach McWonder is always, Shamon Moon walking. I did an episode about this last season. The difference between run blocking, aggressive, firing forward off the ball, and pass blocking, passive, moonwalking, backtracking off the ball. I've said on more than a couple occasions, you put your quarterback at risk by having him drop back so many times every game. You put your line at risk, and you damn sure put your game plan and your defense at risk, and you put your record at risk. All because you're sick with it past happiest. A condition that apparently is too big for the coach to manage. And the frustration is no one calls him out. Only me. No one points it out. 18 passes out of 19 snaps to start the game. This is bullshit. This is madness. You're not going to win that way. Not against a good team, and no one says a word. And so we see it to start the game. Once again, this has been your McBlunder spotlight sequence of the week. And so, the Rams would end up going down 17-3. Could have been worse. The kneecap biter, you understand. I think sometimes these coaches get pulled into this. You know, I can pass play with McWonder. It's a bad mistake. If you fall into his trap, he'll beat you. You better stay true to what you do, kneecap biter. And you saw that in overtime. I get ahead of myself, but they went back to what they do, and they whooped the Rams nice and easy. But earlier, when Jared Goff got hit by the poltergeist, well, the Rams found their way back into the game. Now, of course, there was a poltergeist strike on the other side. Matty from the D, he threw a bad one. And the thing with that was, again, you've got a goal-to-go situation. Run the ball, Coach McWonder. Run the ball. You got goal to go. No, he wants to throw it in from anywhere on the field at the 1 yard line. First and goal at the 1. He wants to throw it in. Well, Matty in a goal-to-go situation tosses the dice strike. That Pote was in the building. He got the golfer once. He got Matty. Matty could have got a couple, 3 more times, but they dropped the haunted gift, and that really kept the Rams in the game. So, I suspect that the injuries can be directly linked to McWonder's propensity for throwing the ball all over the yard. Chuck it, chuck it, chuck it. Bad interceptions in the red zone, that shouldn't happen. Give the Rams credit. Down 17-3. It looked bleak, and McWonder had all but abandoned the run with that deficit. And, well, Matthew Stafford bailed McWonder and the Rams out because he just started percolating. But see, as I mentioned, Matty took a shot. You're always dropping back, and hey, you know, the defense says, hey, they're throwing every down. Let's get them. And Matty took a nice shot, and I've heard it said some guys, I think Matty's one of them, likes a nice shot or two to get the cobwebs out or whatever. Okay, maybe he needed that, because after that shot, Matty started dealing darts and dimes. Okay, bing, 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 sidearm, on the move. He looked great. Elusive in the pocket, his feet. He was moving with purpose, no wasted energy. And then the throws. Superb. Throws that were sublime. I mean, that throw to Soup on the sideline, I mean, it was a no-look with the pocket closing in, smashing down around him. And how he got it off sidearm, not looking, and threaded it And then Soup with the toes and the extension. Oh, it was a work of art. It's beautiful. And Matty has several throws where you're like, ooh. And like I told you last week, I like Tyler Johnson. Okay, and you saw him and you saw why I said that. And I told you, the DeMarcus Robinson is no joke. He's the real deal, and I like him there. And so even with the loss of Puka, you got Soup, and you got TDR, and you got the emergence of Tyler. And I'll give credit where it's due. Kobe Parkinson, he started off a little slow, but he started to pick it up, and he had a magnificent block on maybe the best move of the day by Tyler Johnson, where he snagged that little pass and then put his foot in the ground and turned and broke off a move, juked two dudes, and then broke toward midfield. And at midfield, Kobe Parkinson put a hell of a block on two more dudes, and he juked two more and was off to the races. And the Rams, I give them credit. They fought back into the game. And on that drive now, Matty, Dillon, hitting Soup, hitting TDR. And then, first and goal, McWonder's throwing. I'm like, run here, McG. No way. He wouldn't hear that. He's throwing. Matty, little fake pitch. I don't know why they bid on the pitch, because you knew he was going to throw, and Soup leaked out, and he's wide open in the flat. Touchdown, LA, touchdown, Rams. And then all of a sudden they have come back. They have come back from that 17-3 deficit now. And look at the Rams now. And I mean, there's only 4.5 minutes left in regulation, and the Rams lead 20-17, and it was a hell of a drive now. 10 plays, 80 yards. It took, 4+ minutes off the clock, and it was skill and execution. It was primarily Matt Stafford balling out, and the receivers making great clutch catches and adding some yak. So the Rams are very much alive, and I'm thinking, hold them, D. And well, what do you know? The D is up for the challenge. And I call this defensive sequence the Kobe Durant sequence, because Kobe Durant came in, got loose, hit Goff, put that pressure on him, 3rd and 5. Goff is throwing. Who is it? The same man, Kobe Durant, back in pass coverage, breaking up. Almost had a poltergeist strike, which would have sealed the game. But he couldn't maintain control through his collision with the ground, and so Detroit has to punt. And I'm like, now the Rams, all you got to do now, McGenius, is just employ the principles of power football. Run the ball. Let the offensive line fire off the ball. Eat up the clock. Force them to use their timeouts. Play traditional, sensible, smart, hard-nosed football. The game is yours. And you know what happened, don't you? He did not do that. And so this sequence is also, it was a candidate for McBlunder Spotlight of the Week, but it did not supersede the first quarter McBlunder sequence. But this one was close. There's 4 minutes, 10 seconds left in regulation, and the Rams have the ball back, and Detroit only has 2 timeouts. All you got to do, run the ball, eat up their timeouts. They're going to get the 2-minute warning. You get 1 first down, 2 tops, and the game is over. Remember how they did you in the playoffs last year? How you were hoping you were going to get another chance, but they ran the ball and threw the ball and got the first down, and then what do you know? The game was over and you never got another look at it. Remember that, McWonder? You should. It just happened in the playoffs earlier this year. Well, in this particular game now, in the new season now, first game of the 24-25 season against these same put 'em up Lions. And now the sequence has been reversed. It's flipped. Now you have the lead coming down the stretch. You have the ball. They only have 2 timeouts left. Bleed them. Run it dry. Get you a first down or 2. Eat up some clock and get out of there with the win. No. Not this dude. Not McWonder. No. Well, first down, he's still throwing. And I'm thinking, why are you still throwing? You got the lead. You got the ball. But he's throwing. Okay, all right. But he's still throwing. So now here it is. It's 3rd and 5. And throwing the ball yet again. And Matty from the D. This throw, to me, this was like a Hall of Fame cinching throw. To me, it's like that throw that he made under those circumstances. I'm like, you got to give this man the Hall of Fame. You got to put him in before it's all said and done. Off the wrong foot. No look complete. Just magnificent. Just extraordinary. Matty from the D. And so now, here it is now. There's only 2 minutes, 30 seconds left in regulation. And LA does run the ball. But it's an outside run, and K. Will, not being savvy, lets the momentum carry him right out of bounds. You got to go down in bounds, K. Will, and make him burn a timeout, but he did not do it. And the clock stopped for the Lions. Put 'em up. 3rd and 10 again. The clock has stopped on the blunder. This time a K. Will blunder. But McBlunder is going to trump K. Will's blunder, because on the very next play now, 3rd and 10, McBlunder has Matty in the gun. And I'm like, you're going to throw here despite all of the convention? Yes, he's going to throw. Yes, he's going to disregard convention. Yes, he is going to make another McBlunder. Incomplete pass. Clock stopped. First K. Will's blunder, then McBlunder's blunder. And those 2 timeouts for the Lions are still sitting there. And they will get the ball back, and as you know, they will tie the game on a field goal and send the game to overtime. And look who comes out at midfield for the coin toss. Why, it's the golfer and Matty from the D from there. And, well, you know, they say tails never fails, but Matty seems like he must have never heard that, because he never calls tails, and he always loses. And so the Lions win. Tails it is. They get the ball back, and you know how it ends. 7 of 8 Detroit plays, or run plays, power run. If McWonder had done this, they would have won. But no, he's getting on the plane with a loss and his tail tucked between his legs, because he McBlundered yet again. 7 of 8 run plays. Only a little swing pass to the back was the only pass, and that was a safe when they went to the ground. They went to power ball control, and they beat the Rams without them ever touching the ball in overtime. And let me just say here and now, you need to change the overtime rules, NFL. I'm not going to blame the rules for this. This is on McWonder. But you need to change the NFL rules to be uniform. Playoff overtime rules apply to all games. Both offenses must have an opportunity to touch the ball. You got to fix that. And so the Rams opened the season 0-1, defeated in overtime 26-20 by the Detroit Lions. And that has been your game analysis. And so now let's just get right to the numbers. Let's get right to it. Now the Detroit Lions, well, the Rams and the Lions played nearly even. 387 total yards for Detroit, 363 to the Rams. First downs, 26-21, yards per play, 5.2 to 6.0, all pretty close. The difference really was, obviously, in the passing and rushing yards. The Rams had 304 passing yards, Detroit only 200. They won. The Rams had 83 rushing yards. Detroit doubled them, just about 163. They won. Otherwise, penalties, sacks allowed, punts, turnovers, all pretty close to even. You know where the key is. Let's just get to it. The Detroit Lions and Jared the Golfer Goff threw the ball 28 times, 18 completions, 28 attempts for 217, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. They ran the ball 31 times for 163 yards, as I mentioned, over 5 yards plus per carry. So what you see there from those numbers, if you recall last year, a couple years ago now, I created a formula. I called it the 25-30 principle, and I promised Coach McGenius that if he only employed this simple principle, he would win games, win them against quality opponents. And he apparently has either not heard of this principle, never watched an episode of Scotty Says, or simply chooses to eschew it at his peril. The 25-30 principle simply states you must run the ball a minimum of 25 times. Detroit ran 31 times. Check. You must not throw the ball more than 30 times. That's in regulation, not even including overtime. They threw it for 28 attempts. Check. Including overtime, they completely met the 25-30 principle. And as I promised, they won. Let's look at McOne. Matt Stafford, an amazing game, a brilliant quarterback. 34 completions, 49 attempts. Damn, McWonder, damn near 50. 34 of 49 for 317 with a touchdown and a poltergeist strike. Well, yeah, it went to overtime, but they didn't get the ball in overtime. These 49 passes were all in regulation. What about running the ball? 23 runs for 83 yards. And so the 25-30 principle says a minimum of 25 run plays. He failed. It says no more than 30 pass plays. He fails. And he's way out of balance. 49 pass plays to 23. He's more than double the pass plays out of balance. And you lose. You lose. This is what I'm trying to say, my folks. And so what it is it's the same old, same old. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And I don't really have any hope now that McWonder is going to change course. He is what he is and who he is. And he's sick with it. And that's just all there is to it. He's an unbalanced fellow. And so, with no one to hold him accountable, no one in the media, none of the fans, no one apparently down at the palace in Inglewood able to hold McGenius accountable for his condition, he's free to run amok. And that's what you see. And I'm afraid that's what you'll continue to see. And so, let's just very quickly take a look around the NFL. I mean, I couldn't watch the Monday night game live because of DirecTV and ABC and ESPN and AB. It's just a mess. What in the hell? It's always a money grab, isn't it? But for the most part, by and large, I would say I'm pretty much seeing what I expected to see. I don't believe in Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, not one little bit. And the Cowboys, yeah, they play well in the regular season. We'll see come the playoffs. I was a little surprised at how much Caleb Williams' fight on struggled. And so maybe Tampa Bay will get that playoff spot from Chicago, the one I allotted them, as I mentioned in my last episode, the season preview and predictions episode. But for the most part, by and large, we're seeing pretty much what I expected to see. And so, just to touch on some of the headlines around the league, Tyreek the Cheetah, man, down in Miami with the McLaren, clowning with the cops. And when you first heard the story, you're like, oh, they were jealous of a black man in a fancy car. Well, that's what he said, but we saw the body cam footage, and he's lucky they didn't put more of a hurt on him than they did. But when you're that rich and well protected, I guess, you can't help but to, flex. So, chalk that one up for the popo. So, next up for the Rams, it is Kyler and the Cardinals. And the Cardinals are actually favored. So it should be an interesting one. Aaron Donald, AD99, would terrorize Kyler and the Cardinals. But he's gone. And, well, we'll just have to see what transpires on Sunday. And so I'll be here to cover it on the other side of the Cardinal game. But what I need you to do at this point, what I need from you is to throw me one of these. Please like the video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and then until the next one, which won't be too long from this one. Scotty says, from the outskirts of the city, I'm the only one who can see it, apparently. McWonder, you need to grow. Scotty says, one love.